All right, good afternoon. Today we're going to be looking at the chicken genetics gizmo. In this gizmo, this is doing a whole lot more and a lot different method of looking at genetics than what we're usually accustomed to. In this one, we are going to be looking at what's called co-dominant traits. And what co-dominant means is that they both are dominant traits, so they're both going to show up. Now, in the prior knowledge for this, we looked at the flower and we went over this in class. If you don't remember, you can see it in the introduction video for this gizmo. In the warm-up, though, this is one we are going to talk about. In the warm-up, they ask us for the genotypes. So we click the box for genotypes. We look at our chickens, and we see that they are dominant for feathers, so red feathers. And this one is dominant for white feathers. Now, these are pure breeding chickens, and what that means is that no matter how many times we breed them, we're always going to have the same type of offspring. The red are always going to give us red-feathered chickens. The white are always going to give us white-feathered chickens. So in the warm-up, it asks us for the genotypes. For the red chickens, we have feather color dominant red. So that's a capital F with a little superscript, almost like an exponent R, FR, FR. And for the white feathers, we have a similar thing. We have the capital F and we have a dominant W for both of them. Now, it then asks us, what do the F, the R, and the W stand for? Well, the F we're going to look at, and the F, we can see that the F probably stands for feathers, since we're talking about feathers. R would be red feathers, and W would be white feathers. Now, in activity A, it's asking us to start with some predictions. So what do we think the red and white offspring are going to look like? What do we think is going to happen when we breed a pure red and a pure white? And we went over this in the introduction, and we went over it in class. We end up with chickens each time that have red and white feathers. Okay, so we go through and breed them. Question 2 is asking us, how would we describe the offspring? What's their phenotype? And we look at their genotype, and we see that they are dominant R, dominant W, so they have red and white feathers. The phenotype we would then describe as being red and white feathered. You could go white on the top half, red on the bottom half. Then it's asking us for 3. We're going to experiment. It says to drag 4 of these chickens down here, and we'll go ahead and do that. And once we've done that, it says drag 1 of them to the parent box, and we'll clear this. We'll put 1 up here for a parent, and it says to drag a dominant white over. Now, we can go ahead and do with this. We're going to go ahead and look. What do we think they're going to look like? We're going to get a dominant red from 1 parent, dominant white, and 2 dominant whites. So we can bet, and there we go, we've got red and white, and we've got white. So we can see that red and white, pretty common. We'll go to 100 and see what we end up with. And as we get to 100, it's awfully close to 50-50. So we have awfully close to 50-50. Now, when you do this, I'm just going to go ahead and figure out why do you think that is? Question 4 is having us drag another chicken from the holding cages. So we'll clear this, and we'll put 1, 2 of the mixed genotype offspring, and we'll breed them. And with this, we can see we get some red. We'll go to 100. We go to 100 because it's just the easiest to see it. Looks like about half are red and white, and 21 red, 28 white. So we get an idea that red and white is probably going to be our most common outcome for this. The last question, question 5, is asking you about dominance and recessive. And for this question, keep in mind the mouse gizmo that we did before. I hope that this walkthrough has helped you, and we'll see you guys in class. Goodbye.